nothing but we have to check the problem, and it's a very simple problem. It's basically a array which has, we have to check the palindrome sequence present in the rows or either in the column. So what you can see is whether given a two-dimensional matrix, two-dimensional array of ARR of dimension ARR of n cross n, now consisting solely of zeros and ones. So we have to, our array should only contain zeros and ones, okay? And using zero-based indexes. Zero-based indexes means if this is a matrix, so 0 1 2 3 0 1 2 3. So this is the row and column indexes, okay? If multiple palindromes are identified, prior the palindromes found the rows over the column. So we have a priority that the rows palindrome found in the palindrome, we have to check the priority, right? So palindrome of row is greater than palindrome of columns, okay? So within the rows of the columns, the palindrome with the smallest index in smaller index takes precedence. So if we have to check a precedence, the slower the index, the smaller the index, the higher the precedence, okay? The resultant should be represented by the index followed by either R and C. So R and C is nothing but indicating whether the palindrome was located in a row or the palindrome was located in a column. The output should be space separated. If no palindrome is found, return the string as -1. If no palindrome is found, return the string as -1, okay? And the output should be string, okay? So if you see in this particular case, 1 0 0 0 1 0 and 1 1 0 0. So in the first test case, 0 1 0 is a palindrome having a row index at 1. So if I take this as my elements, so 0 1 and 2, 0 1 and 2, it is the only row where you can see a palindrome sequence has been found. If you check the other columns, the first column also has a palindrome sequence. But since row is greater than column as precedence, we are going to only return the column row number along with R, signifying that it is found in the first row. Now let's understand the code. It's a very simple code. So for the first simple code, what we are checking whether a particular array is a palindrome array or not. So check palindrome array. So in the check palindrome array, what you can see, we have taken a boolean is palindrome which is returning true or false. True or false, okay? We are passing a array from the user. We are taking the size of the array. Now, whenever you are saying this, now you will say, Arnav, did the user give a single dimensional array or the two-dimensional array? No, the user give this array, which is a two-dimensional array. But while taking into consideration, I am going to take row-wise elements, right? Row-wise I am going to search. I am going to search row-wise. So for row-wise, say R1, R2, R3, I have to check this row. I am going to do this operation, is palindrome. Now we are taking I equals to 0, I less than n by 2. So n by 2 is done in order to check the steps, okay? So the number of steps are not taken much. Now we are checking if error of I, which is the element present at the 0th index, okay? We are element present at the 0th index not equals to, okay, which is not equals to error of n minus 1 minus I. So error of n minus 1 minus I if not equals to. So let us carefully understand. So we have a 0, okay, which is not equals to array of n minus 1. So if my array has 10 elements, okay, so 10 elements minus the 0th element is the last element, okay, is the last element. So we can carefully check the second last element of this array is not equals to, then we can say it is false, okay. So in order to be palindrome 1 0 1, this has to be equals to this, okay. So this has to be equals to this fulfills if it comes out of this if condition and returns true, okay. So those are the palindromes, where this is equals to this. But when it is saying this is not equals to this, that means it is not a palindrome. The first value is not equals to last value, that means it is not a palindrome. So what n minus 1 is basically the last index, okay, and we are checking whether it's not equals to, so we are returning false or else we are returning true. Now comes our main function, string pattern, which is going to return the string, okay. So we can see we have taken a 2D array, we have size of the array. Now we are traversing through the rows over here, and next we are traversing through the columns, okay. So while traversing through the row, if we are checking if we get to find a palindrome present inside an array, then we are going to return I, which is nothing but the index of that particular row, which is R1, 2 or 3 plus R. This is a variable which is signifying that your palindrome has been found in this particular row. Now let's consider J. J is nothing but the column. So we have taken column equals to new int of n, the same size as that of the array. Now column of I, we are storing error of I and J. So these are nothing but the columns C1, C2, C3, C1, C2, C3 are the columns. So in the column we have initialized the values, say these are the values we have initialized, error of I and J. Now we are checking if this column is also a palindrome. If this column is also a palindrome, which means 1, 0, 1, this is also a palindrome, then we are going to return J plus column. Okay. But why have we done the row calculation first? Because row having higher precedence than column. Okay, this is the first priority. Also, they have also said that indices with lower indices has higher priority. So R1 is definitely having higher priority than R3, and C1 is definitely having higher priority than C3. So first row is having higher priority than last row, and first column is having higher priority than last column. We are returning J plus C. Okay, we are returning J plus C over here as the column index, or else we are returning -1 if no palindrome is found. No palindrome. Okay, so this was today's code. It was not a very complicated code. You can see we have to just take a class solution. We have to check the palindrome function over here. After that, in the pattern, we are checking the row wise pattern, and then we are checking the column wise pattern. If it works, we are going to print R plus row in the case of rows found as palindrome, and column in the case of columns found as palindrome. So I'm looking forward to see you in our next video. Thank you.